Well, good evening, everybody. Today is Saturday, somewhere around February 20th, 2021. And I did a video a short time back about a real, authentic angel that me, my wife at the time, and my children saw. So if you like, you can go watch that video. I'll try to get organized enough to leave a link to that video here as well. And so that'll give the background and all the disclaimers and everything to what my perception, understanding of an angel is. And suffice it to say, to keep this video short, okay, an angel is not what is traditionally thought of when you say the word angel. Okay, it's not like John Travolta in the movie Michael with the wings, and it's not. In fact, angels don't even have wings. So that's a pure. If you're going by the Bible, okay, angels don't even have wings. So, angels are all men. There are no. The Bible says that angels are neither married nor given in marriage. Okay, it doesn't say they're all men, but there is no record in the Bible of a female angel. So angels are all men, and in the Bible, the angels are referred to as the sons of God. So never the sons and daughters of God, just the sons of God. So anyway. So I want to talk about another angel that I saw. Now, even though angels are only men, angels can appear as anything. Angels can appear as, men or male or female. Can they appear as a goat or a cow? I don't know about that part. My guess is no, but I don't know. I don't think there's ever any record of that. There is a donkey that spoke to Balaam. There is that story in the Bible, but there's no suggestion that the donkey was an angel. It was just a kind of a miraculous thing. So anyway, so I want to talk about another angel that I think could have been an angel. And this was just a couple weeks ago. In my other video, that angel that I talked about there was like 30 years ago. So I was going somewhere on a Saturday, and I saw a homeless person sitting on the side of the road with a giant grocery cart stacked real high, And so for whatever reason, I just pulled in and rolled down my window. I said, "Hey, how you doing? Just want to stop by and see if there's anything I could do for you, whatever." And I thought the person was a man, She was very weathered, extremely sunburned, heavy set, it wasn't. And even when she got up from her chair or whatever she was sitting on something. It might have been it was. I don't know what it was, to be honest with you. It was something. I don't think it was an electric scooter, but it was something, and. It could have been an electric scooter. But anyway, she got up and she talked like this. Like with a really raspy voice. Really deep and a heavy New York accent. Okay? So, immediately reminded me of Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, the real heavy Northeastern accent, New York accent. And she kind of leaned in the window, leaned on the side of the car, leaned on the windowsill, and leaned in the window a little bit, and said, very like New York, very like Robert De Niro, "Well, to be honest with you, I could use a box of them things on a stick that you clean your ears with." Something like Q-tips? You want Q-tips? I was like, okay. And a couple of bags. I said, a couple of bags. What do you mean, like grocery bags? Yeah. She's like, yeah. Some some of them tip things and some couple bags. So I said, well, okay. I said, you don't need anything else? She's like, no, I don't need nothing. That's all I really need, to be honest with you. Like, it was actually pretty funny. So, so I went and I got the Q-tips. I got the bags. You know, I was going to the store anyway. And I think that's why I stopped, was because I was going to the store anyway. So I said, well, you know, I'll get this person, if they need something, I'll get them something, and I'll get it while I'm there, and I'll drop it off on my way back, because it was close to this person was close to my house, right? So I did all that, and it took kind of a long time, because I think I might have ran a couple other errands that were in the vicinity of the grocery store. And the way my mind works, I like go to do one thing, and then I think, oh, I'll do this while I'm here. Oh, I'll do this. Oh, I'll do this. You know, like I think of like 4 or 5 things just sort of get attached. You know, so things get very elaborated. You know, extrapolated. My mind is like a compulsive extrapolation machine. You know, it just goes from one thing and it build, like obsessively kind of. Anyway, so I did that. So when I came back, it's like 3 hours later probably, you know, she wasn't there. And so I started driving around, no sign of her. Stopped in you know, one of these hotels, one of these motel type things, you know, that, you know, homeless people stay in when they have a little money or whatever. And, you know, not the kind of hotel that you or I would ever really consider staying in. Okay, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but they're around. Those types of places are around. And because the hotel was right across the street from where I saw her. And no, nothing there. But the lady did tell me where the homeless people hang out and where they, you know, they give meals and stuff like that. So I went down there. There's nobody there. Literally nobody there. And I just drove around the vicinity for a little while because, like I said, I'm a little bit obsessive. So I just kind of like, it was, you know, I drove around for a good little while, you know. And then I saw a police officer, and I pulled up to near his car, and I rolled my window down like I always do, and I asked for permission to approach his car, and he said sure. And now I remember how I found out that this homeless person was a woman, is because I didn't know she was a woman until she told me her name. She said that her name was Anna, right? And that's when I knew she was a woman. I was like, oh, okay. You know, I didn't say I thought you were a man. I'm not going to say that, but it was like, I was like, oh, Anna, okay, you know. Anyway, and then I could tell that, you know, she could conceivably be a woman, but if she hadn't given me a female name, I would never have assumed that she was a woman. There was just no, you know, it's just no. I mean, she's extremely weathered, extremely sunburned, extremely deep voice, harsh kind of New York accent, you know, like physique-wise, you know, I mean, it was like, you know, but when she said her name was Anna, I'm like, I could see, like, oh, okay, yeah, I can sort of see that now, you know. And so I told the police, I said, you know, I met this homeless person over here. She said her name was Anna, and she needed some stuff from the grocery store. I'm just trying to find it so I can give it to her, you know. And he said, I deal with all the homeless people around here. And he goes, I don't know any Anna. So I'm like, okay. So, you know, I thanked him for his time, and I went on my way. Now, here's the thing. I never found her. I still have the Q-tips. I'm using them. But here's the thing. Okay, now, obviously, you don't know. You don't know if somebody's an angel or not an angel, because the Bible says you may be entertaining angels unawares, right? So you don't know. You don't know. And my feeling, my thought, my philosophy, my driving ideology, whatever you want to call it, is that certainty is an enemy. Certainty is it's an enemy of faith. Certainty is an enemy of excellence. Certainty is an enemy of a lot of things, a lot of good. Certainty is human certainty is an enemy of good. Okay, because when you become certain, your mind becomes calcified. You're no longer open to things that contradict your certainty. And I think it was Benjamin Franklin who said, something to the effect of, learn continually. Most importantly, relearn the things you think you already know. Something like that. Okay, that's probably heavily paraphrased, but you get the gist of it. Is that the most important things to learn about are the things you think you already know. Because if you think you already know it, you have a certainty about it, and you build, like I said, extrapolations. You build extrapolations on top of those certainties. So you might be building an extrapolation on top of something that's false, because you no longer question that, because you've already made a decision that leads you to a certain state of mind that disables your ability to analyze, think about, objectively consider that thing, because you have already, it's already like calcified, concretized, whatever the right word is for that. It's no longer, that particular point, that particular subject matter is no longer malleable in your mind, and in fact, the greatest likelihood is that it needs to be malleable, because we're constantly getting an influx of new information, and just one little tiny piece of new information can theoretically completely revolutionize a field of study, or an opinion or a presumed truth, So anyway, I forget why I got off on that whole tangent about certainty. Oh, I know why. Because I said, why I'm saying that she's an angel. Obviously, I don't know. The other thing about driving philosophy is that if everything you do is not an act of faith, then what is it exactly? If it's not an act of faith, what is it? Oh, it's that whole certainty thing, right? So certainty is an enemy of faith, right? Because, I know, but I studied this in college, and I have a degree, and I am a successful business owner, and this is my business, and I know this subject matter, blah, blah, It's pride, it's ego, it's arrogance, and you don't have to be a very astute or devoted student of history to see entire cultures exist for generations on false premises. Right? Hindsight is 20/20 vision. We can see that 50, 100, 200, 300, 40 years after the fact, 400 years after the fact. But at the time, they were living for generations on their certainties, which were false certainties. They were falsehoods. But they were not open to learning about that subject matter anymore, because they had collectively decided what was true and not true about it. So certainty became their enemy. That's why the Bible says that pride goes before a fall. When we become certain, we become very proud. We're like, I know, and we start building, extrapolations on top of things, and certainty becomes just a way of life for us. It's like when you're young, the threshold for certainty is typically extremely high. It's kind of a personality thing, but generally, stereotypically speaking, the threshold is very high, because when you're young, your natural presumption is, I don't know very much. You don't feel like you know very much. So you have a very high threshold for certainty. But the older we get, and the more things we become certain about, then the lower our threshold becomes before we start to categorize something as certain, as something that we can be certain of. And it just becomes a way of life for us. So it's like a cancer. Certainty is like a cancer. So I say that this person, Anna, this homeless, was an angel, as a statement of faith. But now, if you have only faith and no objectivity, well, that's where you get into a whole nother area of weirdness, like cult type stuff, and you're just David Koresh or whatever, whatever example. There's literally thousands, probably hundreds of thousands throughout history. And it's not just the David Koreshes. It could also be like political leaders, or it could be anybody you follow. When you have a dearth, a complete absence of objective thought regarding your devotion to this person or this ideology or whatever. So, so the objective reason I say it, I've already explained the faith side, but the objective reason I say it is because it's kind of an affirmation of my own, one of my own personal rant subjects. And I need to check the time here. I don't see the time. It's not showing the time. But basically, Jesus was homeless, So when we see a person in need, let's just say a homeless person, our automatic, culturally formed reaction is, a homeless person, oh, they need a home. They need a home and then everything will be okay. It's like, well, no, maybe they don't even need a home. You need to ask them what they need. They're human just like you're human. No human likes another human coming up to them and telling them what they need, right? That's insulting. That's patronizing. That's condescending. It's insulting. Whatever type of it, whatever flavor of insult it is, it's an insult. And whatever they tell you that they need, it doesn't have to make sense to us. It doesn't have to resonate with us. It's not our needs that are I'm not stopping to meet my needs. I'm stopping to meet her needs, whatever her needs are, And if she tells me she needs an empty tuna can, well, I'm going to go get a can of tuna and empty the tuna out of it and give it to her and say, okay, is there anything else you need? I mean, I'm meeting somebody's needs according to their definition of what their needs are, okay? And I'm not going to interrogate them. I'm not going to treat them like a child, or something less than, just because I don't immediately get it. Now, there is always the possibility of mental illness and, disconnection. And, there is that possibility, okay? But that's not going to be my automatic go-to assumption, If I don't have any reasons to believe that, then, whatever. I'm not just going to jump to that just because I see something that doesn't make sense. I'm not going to automatically say, oh, mental illness, I mean, we got enough people running around wanting, like passionately desiring to find reasons to declare people mentally ill so that they can create a world that looks just like them, There's a lot of people. I was raised in a family like that. I mean, they just want everybody to be cookie cutter identical. So if you don't meet the cookie cutter requirements, then you're deemed mentally ill, or you're deemed you need professional help, or you deemed you need medication, or it's, and I'm exaggerating a little bit, but not that much. It's a little bit of it. What I'm saying is a little bit of it, but not that much of an exaggeration. And I think we've all known people in life like that, who will use any tactic they can get their lips wrapped around, a verbal rhetorical tactic to try to conform everybody in the entire world to their standards, And I know it's a pretty basic standard to have a house. I understand that for all of us. And I think that's why we're so susceptible to that social formulation, sort of standardized cookie cutter formulation. But I feel that God has convicted me that's like, no, a human needs what they need. All humans don't need the same thing, So anyway, that's my conviction. And so when she told me she needed the Q-tips, and like I said, the Q-tips and the grocery bags, and she told me her name, and I said, okay. Oh, and then I forgot this part. And then I said, well, I'm going to go and get your Q-tips and your plastic bags. But before I go, is there anything I could pray for you about? And I can't remember what she said. But I did pray for her. And, I held her hand, like shaking hands, like two people shaking hands. I held her hand, and because she was on the passenger side, I was over here, So I held her hand. For whatever she asked me to pray for, I prayed for. I think she asked me to pray for health or something like that. I can't remember. And I did that. And, and it was all whatever it was what it was. And, it was like not super dramatic or anything. It was just kind of like, like a normal thing, basically. And as soon as we got done praying, she looked at me and she said, "Good job." Oh, she said, "Good job. Good job. Very good job." Something like that, And I was like, okay, well, thank you, So I didn't really think anything about it. I just went and got the Q-tips. It's kind of weird. I got the bags. It's kind of weird. I mean, she's got this giant grocery cart full of things. It's, it's whatever. But I mean, it's whatever. Whatever I can do to help, I'll help. And I can impose my ideas about what somebody needs on them. I'm going to listen to them. Whatever they say they need, okay, fine, As long as it's not illegal or whatever, as long if I can do it, and it's reasonable, whatever, I'll do it, So, the thought of her being an angel didn't even cross my mind. It's just whatever. She's just a homeless person, and she needs this. She has this odd request, so I'll just go and do it. Bada bing, bada boom, it'll be done, So then I come back, she's gone. I'm like, okay, well, that's a little odd. It's not that odd, but it's a little odd, a little bit, a little bit odd, I'm driving all around. Maybe she had a room. I don't understand why she has that giant grocery cart. She might just park that grocery cart beside her room, every night. I mean, who knows, So maybe she was right there, close by, but she was inside somewhere and I couldn't see her. That's a possibility, But anyway, so I ask, the real sort of objective hook for me is the police officer. When the police officer said that, he deals with all the homeless, he's like the homeless guy. He goes, "I don't know any Anna." And I described her. He's like, no. So that was like, okay, well, that's that. And then she's affirming my own personal conviction about, you meet a homeless person, don't automatically assume they need a house or a home. Or, ask them what they need. Maybe honestly, nobody believes me when I say this, but if you talk to 20 or 30 homeless people, I could just about almost guarantee you that at least a minimum of 5 of them will tell you they like being outside. I mean, you can call me crazy, but I've met people. I met people that could have an apartment, and they said, "I don't want to have an apartment." They said, "I just can't deal with all the hassles and the bills and the rules and this and that." And I can kind of understand that. There's a hassle side to everything. You got to worry about having the rent money on time. You got to worry about the electricity. You got to worry about this. You got to worry about that. Being homeless, you're free. You just got to find a place to sleep. I mean, but you're completely free. There's definitely downsides. I mean, it can be dangerous. It's not necessarily dangerous, but it can be. There's a lot of insecurity. There's a great potential for you to be hassled by business owners, homeowners, police officers, people that don't want you around. Weather is obviously a big deal, but some people would rather deal with those problems than the other problems. In my experience, in just talking to people. I met a guy at a bus stop over in Tampa. I used to ride the bus to work because it dropped me off like literally a block from my office. It was amazing, and I could read my computer books all the way to work, which was super cool. I met a guy over there, and he said, I spend my summers in Illinois and my winters in Florida. And he goes, I have a disability check and a pension check or something like that. And he goes, he said, I just do my change of address when I come to Florida. And he goes, I just like being outside. I like being outside all the time, sleeping outside. He goes, it's a hassle sometimes, but I prefer it, And he literally said, I don't want to have an apartment. I've tried that. It's just not for me, So I was like, okay, man, I mean, whatever, and then, and like I said, Jesus was homeless, right? I mean, he even said, foxes have holes and birds have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head, so, so there's the police officer, there's her affirmation, I sort of take it as an affirmation. It's like, she made this strange request for Q-tips and a couple of grocery bags. I mean, that's just, That's just strange, right? So, but it's for me, it was an affirmation that I just need to get people what they need, what they say they need, what their perception of their need is. Meet that. And then if we can go from there, we can go from there. But meet their perception of their own need first. That's the logical starting point. When you try to jump the gun and start telling people what they need, it's just no. That's what everybody does. Everybody does that, and some people do it in the extreme, like ridiculous. Like they know everything you need. Like literally. Like you could be perfectly fine. You could have your whole act together, and everything is fine. But somehow they still know what you need. It's like, what are you talking about? I think, hopefully you know what I'm talking about. But some people, that's just their personality. It's like their calling in life is to go around telling everybody what they need and what they need to do and what they need to get and where they need to go and who they need to talk to. That's just their shtick, and it's really really like obnoxious and offensive and insulting. So there's those two things: the police officer, the affirmation that she needs what she needs, and then there's the fact that she said to me, good job, very good job. So those are kind of my three objective hooks, you might say, that it sort of inspire me to say I think she was an angel. She could have been an angel. I just sort of have that vibe. I sort of have that feeling, So that's my story about another potential interaction with a literal angel.